on, Josh, let's go, bud.
This thing is a riot. The 1990s was a decade where when a new car came out, it had more power, more weight, but more still meant better. If you fast forward to today, the latest BMW M3 makes 475 horsepower and weighs 3,900 pounds. It's a little much. But in 1998, the BMW M3 made 240 horsepower, weighed 3,200 pounds. It was still a recipe for an enthusiast driver to have fun. This is my new friend Lee. Lee and I met on Facebook because of the BMW E30 video that I made.
I had a Miata and I wanted something a little bit more horsepower. And I was like, okay, this one's cheap enough. It's $8,700. I'll just get it. I'll make it into a chat car.
I do want to say, first impressions, I grew up in the 90s. This to me is what a BMW looks like. Some sharp angles, a little bit boxy, and just subtle. If you look at the fender flares, they're not crazy, they're there. You definitely notice them, but it's subtle by modern standards. It's a simple, clean car. It just feels German and purposeful and sporty and understated. I think silver is the perfect color for it.
So this is a S52. It's a 3.2 liter. It's an inline six engine.
So from the factory, these made about 240 horsepower, about 230 foot-pounds of torque?
Yes, for the US spec, the modification I've done is the M50 header, which has a wider intake. You will lose a little bit torque on the low end. On the high end, you do feel it. And then on top of that, you have this elbow from Demo World and then the aftermarket, and basically an AutoZone intake.
So I see a strut tower brace and then what appears to be adjustable shocks. So you got a coilover setup on it?
It's a local company called MCS in Atlanta. The strut bar is the one that I can find on the internet that has the most reasonable price.
This is a budget track car build to some extent. Like, do you mind sharing how much money you've got into the car overall?
Yeah, actually, no, I don't want to. My wife is gonna watch it.
Good answer. If we move over to the front here, so I see Hankook RS4s, which we race these on our Champ Car Miata, and endurance racing is where you found out about these tires as well, yeah?
Yes, that's correct. They last forever and they don't really fade. And once they show a little bit of overheating on the tires, it doesn't take much for them to cool down. And they are just consistent.
I heard there's a budgetary reason why you chose these as well. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. A lot of racing programs, including Lucky Dogs and WRL, has this program with these tires where you can get them for almost a wholesale price.
Do you mind sharing what you paid for the whole set of tires for this car?
$550 plus shipping.
I don't know if you've ever bought a set of racing tires for a sports car. $550 for the whole set, it makes me angry, really. AP Racing brakes, which I happen to know AP brakes are on 60% of the Le Mans grid. They're considered some of the best in the business.
Yeah, I got lucky with this one. A friend of mine, a local shop, has a spare one, so I just bought it for about $2,000. It saved about $1,000 on it.
These are Apex brand wheels?
17 by 9. I got these while Apex are running their group buy thing. So I got the whole set of wheels for about $1,100.
Yeah! This dude is a deal-finding master. Little note, Apex recently started making Corvette wheels, and so I've got my eye on a set of wheels for Goldie, Apex brand. They seem like a really cool company. So square setup, 245 width tires, front and rear. Everything
in the rear is factory, and also I have to mention here, the rotor, the pads are all bought from FCP Euro. They are basically free replacement once you're, including consumables. So once you're done with it, you pack them up, send them back, they'll send you a new set for free. How do they stay in business? I gotta look into that. Hey, by the way, everybody, spay and neuter your pets. So that looks like an aftermarket exhaust. Yes, the piece that came with the car is welded into one piece, and it's a pain in the ass, almost impossible to do anything with it. So I looked into it and found that this, the ISR Racing, is the cheapest one that you can find on eBay that has decent amount of reviews. Cost me about $760, and it even includes a muffler, so it's not a straight pipe.
Atlanta Motorsports Park is pretty strict about sound limits, and so that can be a concern with some track cars. Hopefully with the muffler, we're gonna be okay. Yeah, so we got the adjustable shocks in the rear. Notice just about everything has been stripped. And so that's probably a good time to talk about weight. From the factory, these were around 3,200 pounds curb weight, but you said it's pretty easy to get weight out of these?
How these cars are built, the interior literally strip themselves. So you don't have to put too much effort into stripping it. Took me and two buddies of mine half a day to make it look like this, and we got rid of a solid 300 pounds out of the car.
Wow.
With all the seats and everything put in, I'm guessing this car weighs around 3,000 pounds.
We got a Sparco racing bucket, Sparco wheel, energy quick disconnect. Lee, this is a short shift kit?
It's from Rogue Engineering. It's a short shifter.
I don't have a ton of experience with BMWs. The E30 I drove, there was no feel in terms of like which gear you're engaging. This is similar, but it's got better feel. Like I can kind of tell where it's going into gear, which is nice. The other one, it just sort of felt like put the lever roughly where you think it should go. The clutch feels pretty light, pretty easy to modulate. Is the clutch stock or is it upgraded?
It's actually upgraded. BMW have these dual mass clutch flywheels, and I do not like them. They don't feel linear at all.
Okay.
So I changed that to a single mass. It's actually a whole kit from Bimmer World.
Power steering, you mentioned power steering rack out of a Z3, which is kind of the go-to mod with these.
That's what everyone says. More responsive,
Okay.
and yeah, faster ratio as well.
Super clean gauges. Still got the glass for the windows, which is nice, and because you do street drive this car to some extent, right?
Yes.
The side mirrors are small. Are those factory?
Yes, they're factory. They're very small.
Regular street car, and yet with the halo and stuff, there's little hints of, okay, we're about to go fast. And I like your little carbon fiber panel down here. Genuine carbon fiber?
No, they're stickers.
Genuine carbon fiber stickers. Little air freshener gives a nice added like kind of aroma to the whole experience, but we're in an older German car and they do kind of have this kind of distinct, it's like being in a mechanic shop. It just makes you feel like, yeah, like this thing is about business. I love this wheel, by the way. This thing and Lee told me off camera roughly what he paid for it. For the money, mwah, chef's kiss. I love it. I'm so excited to drive it.
Robert out there in his West car, so
Okay.
just try to gap him.
Right. Thanks, man. Clutch is easy to modulate. Motor sounds good. Ooh, brakes are grabby. I already like this thing a lot. Steering feels pretty light, pretty quick, lots of feel. Suspension feels really good, planted but compliant. No sign of losing grip yet, even though the tires are cold. It is much faster than the E30 I drove. Shifter is a little notchy. It's kind of hard to tell when you've got second when you're downshifting. Understeer. It's not nearly as tail happy as that E30 I drove was. Got a little unsettled on those bumps. Just a lot more grip than I was expecting. Now we're starting to get close to the limit. It feels light. The inputs are easy. The shifting is a little tricky. I'm sure you get used to it eventually. But it reminds me a lot of the E30, just more grip and more power. There's more weight too, but you don't really notice that. This is a playful car. Here comes Hunter.
I think he pointed me by. He did, I'm taking it.
All right, Hunter's in a stock M3. Let's see if I can keep up.
All right, here's the chase.
Now Hunter is a pro instructor, an incredible racer. But his car is stock, and this one has a lot of tasteful mods on it.
He's going pretty quick for just hopping in a car he's never driven before. I think I might try second. Oh, my shifter just came off.
Woo, Hunter! He's working that thing hard. I hope he doesn't run out of brakes.
Oh, I think I smell my brakes.
He's wheeling her!
Now the tires have overheated. They're feeling a little better. Now come on, Josh, let's go, bud.
This thing is a riot. It's an absolute riot.
Try leaving it in fourth for this one. Got a little pre-A back. Oh shit.
Hunter, watch out.
A little too much drifty there.
Amazing. And ran a 138 without even really trying. I'm gonna do one more lap, see if we can get a good time.
Josh is passing. Shit, all right, hell yeah. He's going for another lap.
Understeering. Come on, baby.
Man, Josh is quick in that thing. I think he actually was a little faster than me.
Whoa! The balance is so good. And when you get to the limit, you can just push a little harder and the car is ready to handle it. Ah. Come on, baby. Woo! Little bumpy through there. I just did a 134.7, which is as fast as I ever drove my C5 Z06 around here. And this car has roughly half of the power. Half of the power. What a car. I love this thing. That extra power compared to the E30 is nice to have, but it doesn't feel overwhelming, and it's just like the right blend of grip and power. I absolutely love it. How was it?
That's fucking awesome. It's really good.
I had to stay out another lap and go for a lap time. I did a 134.
Cool. Wow. Instantly easy to hop in and go fast, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so easy to drive. I think it's even easier to drive than an E30.
And that's my favorite feeling, is to be out on a beautiful day in a car that I trust and have the car say, hey, let's go faster, let's go faster. And it was the best. Couple of things I want to mention. First of all, big thank you to Lee for the opportunity to drive the car.
No problem, man.
Really appreciate it. Second of all, you guys noticed that my boy Hunter was out there wheeling. What's up, dude?
Hey.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go out on track and push hard, you wanna be really careful about doing that with a stock car. Hunter has a really beautiful stock M3. His is a 97. Hunter knows how to drive. I wanna be like Hunter when I grow up. So he was out there pushing it hard, and what happened, Hunter?
I had the tire rub on my fender that's never had any paint work on this entire car, so I'm super bummed. You can see how bad it stretched my fender out, and it tore up my tire. I used the wrong size spacer, so that was super unfortunate. And the brakes were not that great, just factory brakes.
If you're gonna come out to the track and put in hard laps, you might want to set up your car as a track car. The thing is, if you want it to be a streetable track car, you've got to find that balance. Lee has gone a long way in the track car direction, and this thing is only barely streetable, but you can still do it.
Yeah, it has AC and windows, power windows, but that's about it.
Everything's about what you want to do with the car. And for me, wanting to come out frequently and drive on track, a track prepped BMW E36 M3 is an amazing, amazing proposition. So once again, thanks to Lee for letting me drive the car. Thanks to Hunter for coming out with his stock M3 to show us what he can do. I had the best time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you next time.